Have you ever felt like you're constantly running a race, but you don't even know where the finish line is? Your mind is a whirlwind of thoughts about the past and anxieties about the future, leaving no room for the here and now. I used to live like that. My name is Alex, and for the longest time, my life felt like a blurry, fast-forwarded movie. I was always chasing the next big thing, the next promotion, the next goal, the next milestone. I told myself that once I achieved it, I'd finally be happy, finally be able to relax. But every time I reached a summit, I'd just see a taller mountain in the distance. The satisfaction was fleeting, replaced almost instantly by a new sense of urgency, a new void to fill. My days were a frantic blur of to-do lists and deadlines. I'd be in a meeting, but my mind would be drafting an email for later. I'd be having dinner with friends, but I'd be mentally replaying a mistake I made at work. I was physically present, but my mind was always somewhere else. This constant restlessness took its toll. I was perpetually exhausted, irritable, and felt a profound sense of disconnection from my own life. It was like I was a spectator watching someone else go through the motions. The colors of the world seemed faded, the flavors muted. I was living, but I wasn't truly alive. I remember one evening, I was sitting by my window, watching the sunset. It was a spectacular display of oranges, pinks, and purples, but I felt nothing. All I could think about was the mountain of work waiting for me the next day. That was my rock bottom. I realized I was missing out on my own life, moment by precious moment. I knew something had to change. I started reading books, listening to podcasts, anything I could find about mindfulness and living in the present. The concept seemed so simple, yet so alien to me. Be here, now. It sounded like a nice catchphrase, but how do you actually do it when your brain is hardwired for 100 miles an hour? My first attempts were clumsy and frustrating. I'd try to meditate, and within seconds, my mind would be flooded with a grocery list or a worrying about an unpaid bill. I'd go for a walk and try to focus on the feeling of my feet on the pavement, only to find myself lost in thought about a conversation from last week. It felt hopeless. I almost gave up, convinced I was just not built for this kind of calm. But then I met an old gardener named Mr. Henderson. He tended to a small community garden near my apartment, a little oasis of green in the middle of the concrete jungle. I'd often see him there, patiently weeding, pruning, and watering his plants. He seemed to possess a kind of tranquility that I craved. One day, I gathered the courage to talk to him. I told him about my struggle, my restless mind, my inability to just be. He listened patiently, a gentle smile on his face. When I finished, he didn't give me a lecture or a complicated technique. He just handed me a small trowel and pointed to a patch of weeds. "Help me with this," he said. So, I did. For the next hour, we worked in silence. I focused on the feeling of the cool earth in my hands, the satisfaction of pulling a weed out by its roots, the smell of the soil. I wasn't thinking about my job. I wasn't worrying about the future. I was just gardening. When we finished, the sun was beginning to set, casting a warm, golden light over the garden. Mr. Henderson looked at me and said, "Your mind is like a garden. If you let the weeds of the past and future grow wild, they'll choke out the beautiful flowers of the present. You don't have to clear the whole garden at once. Just pull one weed at a time." That single sentence changed everything for me. It wasn't about achieving a state of perfect, uninterrupted presence. It was about the gentle, consistent act of returning. Returning to my breath, returning to the sensation of the sun on my skin, returning to the taste of my morning coffee, pulling one weed at a time. I started to incorporate this idea into my daily life. When I found my mind wandering during a conversation, I gently guided it back to the person's voice, to their eyes. I didn't scold myself for getting distracted. I just returned. When I ate, I tried to really taste the food. What were the textures, the flavors? I started to notice things I'd been blind to before, the intricate patterns on a leaf, the way the light danced on a puddle after the rain, the genuine warmth in a friend's laugh. The change wasn't overnight. It was a slow, gradual process, like a flower unfurling its petals one by one. There were still days when the anxiety would creep back in, when my mind felt like a chaotic storm. But now, I had an anchor, I had my breath. I had the present moment. I learned to sit with the storm, not to fight it, but to observe it, knowing it would eventually pass. I realized that peace isn't a destination you arrive at. It's not a prize you win after a long struggle. It's a practice. It's the conscious choice, over and over again, to be right where you are. It's in the simple act of feeling the warmth of your teacup, of listening to a bird sing, of truly seeing the person in front of you. True happiness wasn't in the next big achievement. It was hidden in all the small, ordinary moments I had been rushing past. Life didn't magically become perfect. I still have challenges. I still have stressful days. But the difference is, I no longer live in a state of constant, frantic anticipation. I've learned to find pockets of peace within the chaos. I've learned to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. That frantic race I was running, I realized I could just stop. I could step off the track, take a deep breath, and just look around. If you feel like you're running that same endless race, I want you to know that you can stop too. You don't need to go on a grand retreat or master a complex meditation practice. Just start small. Start with one breath. Start with one sip of tea. Start with one weed in your garden. Gently, patiently, bring yourself back to the here and now. Because this moment, right here, is where your life is happening. It's the only place it ever will. Don't miss it. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, I'd love it if you'd subscribe and join our community. See you in the next one.